My Zoom interview turned into a federal lawsuit in under 6 hours. When he called my hair too urban, the little green light next to my webcam was the only thing telling me I was still in the room. The video feed from the other side had gone dark, replaced by 2 generic gray avatars, but the audio bar, that treacherous, bouncing green line, was still dancing. I sat frozen in my ergonomic chair, my hands gripping the armrests so hard I could feel the plastic biting into my palms. The interview had ended 30 seconds ago, or at least, they thought it had. "She's sharp," a male voice said. It was Greg, the hiring manager, the man who had spent the last hour smiling at me, nodding at my portfolio, and telling me I was a breath of fresh air for the marketing department at Stratosphere Tech. His voice didn't sound professional now. It sounded loose, comfortable. Technically, she's miles ahead of the other candidate. That portfolio piece on the crypto app? Genius. I felt a flush of pride start to rise in my chest, a warm, hopeful thing. Maybe I was paranoid. Maybe they were just debriefing. I reached for the mouse to leave the meeting, to let them have their privacy. Then the other voice spoke. It was David, the VP of operations, the guy who had asked me about cultural synergy. "Yeah, she's good," David scoffed. "But did you see the hair? It's a lot. It's very loud." My hand froze over the mouse. The warmth in my chest turned into a block of ice. "I know," Greg replied, and I could practically hear the smirk in his voice. "It's too urban for the client-facing side, don't you think? We're pitching to banks, not record labels. We need someone who looks like us. Someone polished, urban." The word hung in the silence of my apartment like a toxic cloud. I touched my hair, my natural curls, washed, conditioned, and pulled back into a professional, neat puff. I had spent 2 hours on it this morning. I had checked the mirror 10 times. I looked professional. I looked capable. "It's a shame," David sighed. "HR would make us interview her anyway because of the diversity quota, so at least we ticked that box. But clients won't relate to her. She doesn't have the look." "Agreed," Greg said. "We'll just tell her we're moving in another direction. Let's go with the guy from state. He's a safer bet." Moving in another direction. The corporate kiss of death. The polite way of saying you aren't one of us. I stared at the screen. My vision blurred, hot tears stinging the corners of my eyes, but I didn't let them fall. I refused. I looked at the top left corner of my screen. A small red dot was blinking steadily. Recording. I record all my interviews. I do it to review my answers, to practice, to see where I stumble. I never intended for it to be a wiretap. But today, that little red dot was the difference between me crying in my bathroom and me burning their entire department to the ground. They were still talking, discussing lunch plans, laughing about how exhausting it was to pretend to care about applicants' hobbies. I had a choice. I could leave. I could disconnect, delete the footage, and go cry into a pillow. I could accept that the world was unfair and that men like Greg and David held all the keys. Or, I could let them know that the door was still open. I leaned forward. I unmuted my microphone. "Just to confirm," I said, my voice steady, devoid of the tremor wrecking my body. "Am I still in this meeting?" The silence that followed was absolute. It was heavy. It was violent. On the screen, the green audio bars flatlined instantly. I heard the distinct sound of a chair scraping against a floor, a physical recoil from the speaker. "Oh," someone whispered. It sounded like Greg. Then, click. "The host has ended the meeting. What I am about to do isn't just a post. It is a tactical nuclear strike on a company's reputation." Greg and David think they just had an awkward moment. They think I'm going to go away quietly because I'm embarrassed or scared of blacklisting. By the time the sun sets today, Greg won't just be the guy who forgot to mute his mic. He's going to be the face of a controversy that tanks a stock price. To watch full story, kindly follow on screen instructions.